Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well on this rainy day. It is rainy here in Lansing. I'm sure it is probably for most of the state as well, but it's a good day to hunker down and get some work done and learn some new information. And I'm happy to see you guys on the call, and we'll jump right in and get started. We have a great presentation today. This is a part of our number of informational series that we've been doing with New Readers Press, and our contact, Elaine Pardick, is our Michigan representative. Many of us saw her at the most recent MAETC conference in the early part of May, and that was great to see her there. And she just, said, we've got some more information and more resources for everyone that I'd like to share. So we always just appreciate Elaine and New Readers Press for doing this. So this is the second part. Last time that we met last week, we had a great presentation on Learning Upgrade, and a reminder that information went out in our MACAE Monday update. I can send it to anyone that needs it as well, the recording as well as the information. And then there is a rate that's available for the Learning Upgrade application. And then Elaine has been working with NGen to secure something similar for all of us as MACAE members for using the Voxy NGen product. And so wanted to offer that to everyone. We are recording today's session. If you want to say hello in the chat, you can do that, and then drop any questions in the chat, and we'll get started. I'm going to turn it over to Elaine.
All right, thank you, Patrick, so much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone again. I know I just saw you either last week and then the week before, but it's always good to see you again. And this afternoon, we have Greg Stoltz. He is an educational consultant with New Readers Press, and he's also with Pro Literacy. And Greg is going to do a presentation this afternoon for us on NGen, which I think you got to see a little bit of it at the last conference. Greg has been with New Readers Press for over I'm getting this all wrong. Excuse me. Greg is with his past experience he had in Japan included over 8 years teaching in Japan as a teacher trainer in the EL division. I think I'm getting everything all messed up with you, Greg. I've got your thing all typed out wrong. I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
I'm not even important enough to really warrant this kind of an introduction, Elaine. So we can just trash that, and I can get on with with what people really want to hear.
If I said it and this time I get it all messed up, it's because you messed with me before. But anyway, I'd like to welcome Greg Stoltz with New Readers Press. He has been with our organization for years. He's a valued person. I count on him all the time, and I'm looking forward to hearing his presentation today. Thank you, Greg.
Well, thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Patrick. I am Greg, and I'm joining you today from Syracuse, New York. What we're going to do today is take a good look at a digital English program designed to empower adult English language learners. Now, I packed a lot of information into this presentation because there's so many cool things to show you about it. And I could talk about this program for half a day easily, but I think I only have about 60 minutes. So buckle up. This will be a fast ride. NGen. Formerly Voxy and then Voxy NGen, and now we just go by NGen, is an industry-leading online English learning program that delivers highly effective instruction through personalized courses in both general and career-aligned English, authentic content using real media sources that are updated daily, as an option or in addition to live instruction provided by your program instructor or instructors in class. NGen offers live virtual instruction from native English-speaking certified teachers that are all over the globe, ongoing and scheduled proficiency assessments, and detailed analytics for students. Research shows that there are 4 key ingredients needed for effective language learning to happen. They're called the principles of second language acquisition, and they are, first, input, as learners listen and read for information, and there's output, as they use what they've learned to communicate ideas with clarity and fluency through speech and writing. There's interaction, of course, as they converse and collaborate with other native and non-native speakers in English, and feedback. And the feedback as they receive encouragement, correction, and additional instruction based on detailed performance data. Engine combines the science of language learning with task-based teaching, or simply put, having students do meaningful tasks using authentic language. How's that? Here, for example, the student listens to a warehouse manager describe an available forklift operator position, and then answers questions to check comprehension. And instead of using scripted, possibly, but not necessarily, outdated learning materials, Engine teaches English using a library of real media sources that's updated daily. These resources from licensed content providers, and their articles, videos, conversations, photos, are turned into task-based lessons using Engine's patented technology. How does it work? Well, first, it's important to note that students can choose from 18 languages currently to set their profile in their native language. Now, they don't have to do this. There are many who programs, states, teachers who believe in total immersion, and they say it's English or bust. But for those who need that help and would actually benefit from it, this will allow them to receive instructions, notifications, and other support in their own language. What languages are covered? Well, there's Latin American Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, Malay, Turkish, Vietnamese, Korean, French, German, Thai, just to name a few. Most recently, one that comes to mind is Dari. And this is particularly helpful for learners at the lower reading levels who might otherwise struggle with the sight navigation and activity directions, right? So what happens next is the starting level is determined, and that's done in one of three ways. First, the student could take what's called the VPA, the Voxy Proficiency Assessment. This is the most accurate way to determine the student's level, but it's also a little time consuming. And for first timers, it could be a little intimidating. It takes 30 to possibly even upwards of 45 minutes. There are two options that would be chosen for the learner at the beginning, either the lower beginning level for the test or an intermediate level based on where she or he is in English proficiency, but then they take that thorough VPA, and their level is determined for them by their results. Second way is not really that popular and really is geared more toward the independent learner who might be studying outside a program, and that is that the student would choose her or his own level using level descriptors to provide guidance. And then there's a third, and this is often used at least as often as the VPA, and that is that the teacher would assign a level, bypassing the student testing and the student selection, and it would be based on pre-existing level assessment. So maybe you have a TABE or a CASA score. You know where your student is. Maybe you have your own in-house standings, and we have charts actually that you can walk across to help determine, all right, maybe we should start the student here. So that's what happens there. And next, a comprehensive needs analysis gathers learner-specific data regarding learning goals, English for work, daily life, test prep, travel. Why are you studying English? What need is this filling? And then personal interests. What would motivate you, and engage you if you're going to keep returning to this program to study and improve your English skills? Is it food, health, dating and relationships, maybe entertainment, technology, business, whatever that is? But it's a pretty extensive, comprehensive analysis to get to know the learner. And once again, there's support in languages so that they can understand these questions and answer accurately. Engine's patented software then combines all of this information, the student's level, stated learning goals, and personal interests, to start her or him off with 3 highly personalized units that are referred to as dynamic units. And as you can see in this case here, we have personalized content recommendations based on, I think this is actually my information that I did a couple of years ago, just playing around. I had indicated, job interviews, technology, business. I was all about, as I did this, mock student, I was all about, I really need this for my career advancement. So the student homepage has a simple, uncluttered design, which is important. Current lessons and assignments are properly displayed, as you can see here, right? And weekly time and activity is shown to keep students on track. For accountability too. Well, didn't do anything this week? Bad student. And there's a navigation bar at the top that makes it easy to get around. So navigation, pretty simple. And here's what the homepage looks like using that language support feature that I was talking about. I selected Dari, although to me it looks more like Elvish script from the Lord of the Rings or something, but shows you what I know. But now here you can see that static information tabs and activity instructions will be in Dari, but the focus of the work is still on English. Good combo. Now, one of the things that sets Engine apart from other digital platforms is actually a really impressive catalog, in my opinion. Let's start with the courses. So at last count, meaning yesterday or the day before, I can't remember when I last got on, but I actually counted them. There were 95 courses in the catalog, with more on the way. Courses can be pre-assigned by an administrator or instructor, but students have the option to select a course or courses on their own as well once they get started. That's a lot to choose from. For general English instruction, there are 7 levels mapped to the National Reporting System and covering a wide variety of topics based on common life skills and tasks. At the intermediate level alone, you can see there at the bottom, there are 282 lessons over 15 units with an achievement test for each unit. There are 9 academic and test prep courses, including CASAS reading goals. There's US citizenship, there's IELTS prep, just to name a few. And here's where it gets really interesting. For workforce readiness, there are 12 general business skill courses. You can see some of the topics here: work emails, office talk, phone skills, meetings, presentations. Some of these topics are available at multiple levels, which is important, right? Phone skills for low beginners, phone skills for high intermediates, and so forth and so on. So they're level appropriate. And also other courses like digital literacy, preparing for interviews, understanding employee benefits, and more. And then there are 58 career, if I counted right, 58 career-aligned courses related to specific industries, and again, at varying levels. 58, and more being added regularly, yet courses on construction and electrical work. food services, tourism and hospitality. What is that? Early childhood education, customer service, grocery customer service, retail customer service. 14 courses in the healthcare career cluster, from CPR, patient care and support, and HIPAA, to courses on phlebotomy, certified nursing assistants, and dentistry. There's home health aides and lots more. 9 courses in manufacturing, including warehouse machinery, maintenance, processes and production, safety. This is also attractive. Courses above a student's current level are locked to prevent them from enrolling in a course that'll be too difficult and, you know, likely discourage or demotivate them. So no danger of them, you know, getting in way over their heads and then deciding, I quit, I can't do this. Students viewing a course will see the course's length, course objectives, and targeted outcomes, all outlined for them. A course consists of sequenced units, see here, and sequenced lessons with a test at the end of each unit. Now, each lesson uses a real-life resource, article, conversation, an image, or a video, and it has 3 activities in it. That's for every lesson. And here's where it gets really cool. The authentic resource used for each lesson, it's a, what is that? It's a video in this example, is fed to Engine's patented software from which 3 level appropriate activities are created. Now, there are, at last count, I think over 20 different types of listening comprehension, reading, writing, vocabulary, and grammar activities. These activities are based on the principles of secondary language acquisition that we talked about earlier, and they take into consideration how students need to learn at different levels. Additionally, Engine's adaptive learning engine analyzes the student's performance, and it adjusts the frequency of activity types accordingly. So, in other words, for example, a student performing poorly in listening activities will be given more exercises to strengthen his listening skills. So, and the adaptive learning engine, through each exercise and lesson completed, learns more and more about the student and his current needs. That just blows my mind. Here's some examples of some of the activities that you'll see. And again, these are at different levels. So like a readout quiz where they read the question and choose the correct answer. A watch and learn, which is listening comprehension questions segmented throughout a video. A word pop at the lower levels where they pop the bubble that contains the word that they just heard. So, you know, these are engaging, they're challenging, and again, level appropriate. Using dynamic units is another great way to learn. We talked about the courses, but there are also these things that are called dynamic units. I mentioned at the beginning that the adaptive learning engine spits out 3 of these to start to get the student started, you know, based on his interests and needs. A dynamic unit is made up of 24 lessons and provides about 10 to 12 hours of learning time. That's for just 1 unit. And remember, Engine's patented software starts that learner with those 3 personalized units, right? But, well, we'll get to this in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, no, I'm not. What happens is let's say, for example, the student finishes one of these units, or what if the topic isn't engaging the student? No problem. He or she can go to the dynamic units in the catalog and pick from a menu populated by Engine's recommendation engine that's continually updating as it gets to know the student better. And last time I checked, I think I had like 32 personalized units, dynamic units in my catalog. So looking here, we have some to choose from. This warehouse machinery it just ain't working for me. So what else have you got? How about movies and TV? So the units can be switched out at any time. And all progress is saved, enabling the students to address their changing needs and interests. So you know what? I'm tired right now of the unit that I'm doing. Instead, I want to try movies and TV for a while, but I can always come back to the unit that I'm swapping out of and pick up where I left off. Lessons in a dynamic unit differ slightly from course lessons, where the authentic resource used to create a course lesson is predetermined or fixed. Lessons in dynamic units are adaptive, changing to suit each student's level and personal interests. So, as shown here, while one student working in the English for Teens unit might get a video on how to become famous on YouTube, a second student, right, might get an article from the Associated Press about Usain Bolt. One lesson that you're looking at here has 2 listening activities and 1 writing, right, on the how to become famous on YouTube. And the other has a reading, a writing, and a vocabulary activity. Students can also opt to shuffle lessons in dynamic units, looking for more interesting or relevant topics and activities. So even within the dynamic units, the student might say, oh man, I am not into this. Do I have to choose a new dynamic unit? Well, let me shuffle and see if there's a more interesting, a more engaging lesson. So, you know, some might think that this is a little overboard. Frankly, I don't. I was and am that learner. If it doesn't interest me, see ya, forget it. I just, I'm not into it. I'm not going to do it. Voxy's native language support that I talked about a little bit earlier customizes instruction for learners even more. So if the student's profile is set to one of those 18 available languages other than English, then instructions and explanations are provided in that language. And additionally, a button at the bottom of the page connects learners to Google Translate if they want to look up non-designated vocabulary words and see them in their own language. So lots of support here. At the end of every lesson, there's a progress report page that shows new words learned, skills improved, and even grammar points covered. As the grammar instruction takes place implicitly in the lessons as students work through them, grammar points and tips can be accessed by clicking on these links as shown here, articles or conjunctions, right? And then they can work on them explicitly, because here's, you know, based on what was covered in this lesson, what you encountered in this lesson, here's some instruction and some activities to practice. As students work through the units, they'll encounter pop quizzes and take end of unit tests to assess their progress and provide review. The longer activities, such as the tests, indicate estimated completion time for time management purposes, right? Should take about 20 minutes, it says. And they have a timer with a pause button as well. So if the student is interrupted, gee, you know, I was working on this, but suddenly the baby's crying. You know, the bus arrived. It's time for my doctor's appointment. They may very well be studying on their own time outside of class. Well, I can pause this and come back to it. Staying motivated, super important. So scores and next steps are provided immediately upon test completion. So congratulations, you're passed, or here's where you need to go back in order to improve. Yet another way to improve English skills for the students is the real media, the lessons, a vast library where students can find topics of interest for additional independent one and dones, right? They don't have to get married to them. They're like, I feel like doing this one. Now I feel like doing that one. Filtering results by level and or media type, choosing from videos, conversations, photos, articles. They can scroll down through scores of options, or they can search by keyword for specific topics of interest. New content is updated here every day. There are about 300 new lessons that are added every month. So this is just an endless library. Moving on, clicking on practice enables learners to work on grammar. As I stated before, they could get explicit instruction on grammar after each lesson is completed, but also on vocabulary and even to a degree pronunciation. Grammar is listed by topic and further broken down into level appropriate subcategories. An explanation is given along with clear examples. Some explanations are linked to a lesson to put the skills into practice. For vocabulary practice, a student's word bank is populated with vocabulary seen in any completed activities from courses, dynamic units, and lessons. The words are filtered by strength, part of speech, and words a student may have starred for study. A weak word would be one that a student viewed maybe only once and missed in an activity, where an excellent word would be one that a student has viewed and identified correctly multiple times. The starred words that I mentioned may be added or removed at any time as a student's vocabulary practice needs change. But it's nice to have that option. These are words that I want to work on, that I feel I need to improve on, so it puts the student in the driver's seat. Clicking on vocabulary review generates flashcards based on the filters that are set, the strength, the category, and students can use the left-right arrows to skip to a different word. Or they can flip the card. Flipping a card reveals its definition and provides an example of the word in context. Now, if the student clicks, I don't know this, the word stays at the same rating. But if the student clicks, I know it, then the strength rating improves. Students can monitor activity and performance anytime by clicking on the Performance tab. And there are 3 subcategories: an overview, unit progress, and my level pages enable the learners to view their progress in numerous ways. From the overview page, students can see overall performance in the 6 major language skills: grammar, vocabulary, writing, listening, reading, speaking, and where they need the most work at just a glance. They can see their percentages. They can see how many activities they've completed and how many vocabulary words they've encountered. They can see how much time they've spent studying overall and break it down into individual areas. And they can filter all this information by date. From the unit progress page, they can see their progress and performance in their active units. And they can also view their completed unit test scores. Engine's VPA, the proficiency assessment, is scheduled at regular intervals. I think it's typically 60-day default, but you can choose 60 or 90 days to measure proficiency level gains. It's a best practice to allow the low proficiency level learners to begin working in Voxy and become familiar with the student interface before having them take the VPA. So how are you going to get those students started? Well, as I mentioned at the very beginning, you might want to say, let's hold off on the Voxy proficiency assessment and use this chart that matches them to a level, based on other scores. The VPA typically takes somewhere in the 40-minute neighborhood to complete, and it can be taken on a computer or on a mobile device. From the My Level page, students can see their current proficiency level and when their next scheduled assessment will be as well. Students achieving a new proficiency level can print a certificate of achievement for their records. And that's motivating too. I'm a box checker. I'm a certificate collector. This might not go on their wall, but certainly something that could go into their portfolio and they could recognize and take pride in. Okay, so let's switch for a moment now for the teachers and the admins. For teachers and administrators, Engine offers the Command Center. It's an administration and reporting dashboard that manages learner enrollment and provides user-friendly reporting to track and monitor learner progress and study time. It can even be used to share or assign individual lessons, filtering by topic, media type, and level. So here's something to think about. How often do you meet with your students each week and for how long? Does your program offer live online instruction? And if so, what does that look like? Do you use Google Classroom? Do you use Zoom? Do you use something else? And when you provide this synchronous instruction, is it group instruction? Is it one-on-one? Do you struggle with multi-level online classroom instruction? While it's not mandatory, Engine's live online instruction options can accelerate student progress even more by exposing students to multiple instructors from various backgrounds and with different accents and speeds. I didn't put a lot of stock in this. The 8 years that I spent in Japan, I'd say about 4 of those years, I was just ignorant. And I thought I was doing my students a service by just not even using the cassette tapes. Yes, I'm dating myself. I said cassette tapes. But, for listening activities, and I did the reading and I did the scripts and everything. And they would say, oh, Sensei, you're so easy to understand. I wish that you could be the person that, that I had to talk to everywhere that I had to use English. And dummy that I was, I took pride in that, saying, oh yeah, I'm all that. Little did I know that I was crippling them. It actually makes sense to expose the students to different speakers. it can increase their interaction with other learners who have level and interests in common. That's another way that you can use this live instruction tool. Here's something that some have thought about. It could be used to increase a program's capacity. If you have students on a wait list, for example, right, just champing at the bit to do something, but you can't get to them. Well, while you're waiting for your chance, here's a way for you to be doing something. And not only are they doing something, but you're able to see their progress and evaluate their level. The live instruction is available in group or private sessions, and programs can choose one, both, or neither. All the teachers, as I mentioned earlier, are certified native English speaking teachers, and they live all over the world, and many speak more than one language. Group classes are available around the clock, 7 days a week. And since all time zones are included, teachers and students could be from anywhere in the world. Only the classes appropriate for the student's level will be visible. And a recommended resource is always included so students can prepare for their group class, right? Before sitting in on the class, do this lesson so that you've exposed yourself to some of the vocabulary that will be used, right? You're preparing for this. For private sessions, students select their preferred class length, the time and date, and even the teacher. The student also indicates what topic she or he would like to discuss. And the students taking these private sessions receive personalized feedback after each session. So a quick recap. We have personalized courses, real life content using real media sources that are updated every day, classroom and/or live virtual instruction from certified native English speaking teachers, scheduled course, unit, and program proficiency assessments, and detailed analytics. Here's an example of a weekly study plan. Let's see, 1 to 2 hours of independent study and a half an hour or more in class, whether it's in person or virtually. If you break down the self-study, say, into 3 days a week, that's 20 to 40 minutes each session. If it's 4 days a week, 15 to 30 minutes. They're studying and jumping in 5 days a week, that's just 12 to 24 minutes a day. And 6 days a week, just 10 to 20 minutes a day. Research suggests that it's more effective to study a little every day than it is to study for a long time, but less often. And that makes Engine's mobile app a vital component, allowing the students access on phones and tablets pretty much anytime and anywhere. You can download it from the Apple or Google Play Store. There's support in 10 different languages, so there aren't as many languages that are supported in the mobile app as in the online computer app. But lessons and courses can even be downloaded so that they can do them offline. And so they download them, and then they can switch to airplane mode, do them offline, so as to not use use up data, for example. And then once reconnected, all of the progress, all of the progress and data is saved and updated. So nice feature. So Engine combines the science of language learning with a proven task-based teaching approach on a state-of-the-art platform so that your learners can succeed. New Readers Press digital support team is ready to help with onboarding and startup. So we give training sessions to the administrators, teachers, and Engine's learner success team provides around-the-clock technical support via phone, email, and live chat. So you get the support where you need it. For licensing and pricing, there are 3 ways to purchase that I alluded to earlier. You can purchase the curriculum only, which in itself, based on the number of courses and dynamic units and lessons that I mentioned, is incredibly robust. But you can also do the curriculum with live online group classes. And I think that's up to like 22 group classes a month that they can take. And the third option would be curriculum, group classes, and the one-on-one sessions, the private classes, of which I think they get 2 per month, 2 30-minute sessions a month. And there are ways that you can even purchase more, I think, in 15-minute increments. Well, you know now, if you didn't know before, who you should be going to for more information on this, and that is Elaine. And here's her contact information once, and I'll show it a few more times, I think, before we're done. So on the next slide, it is, and I'm going to give Elaine actually the opportunity to talk a little bit about 2 promotions that she somehow was able to finagle from our national director. So I guess she has a better relationship with him than I do. Elaine?
Not hard now, is it, Greg? Oh, shoot. Thanks, Greg. Listen, first of all, thank you for sharing all that. I take notes every time I listen to you because I always learn something new, and I appreciate you going at a pace that I could follow. So thank you for that. It was very good. And yes, as working with Patrick this year, we have a statewide MACAE Pro Literacy membership. And we've been trying throughout the year to build on that relationship and partnership and continue to show how we can support that membership and by creating some of these special offers. And so the one Greg has on the screen today is for, it's part of our MACAE Pro Literacy statewide membership. And by doing this, we've put together with Engine a special offer. And so for a limited time, this opportunity is good through the end of June, I think June 25th. You have an opportunity to buy a minimum of, it's a minimum purchase of 25 licenses for $100 a seat, which is a good savings. And as I mentioned to several people at the MATEC conference, if you want to work with other programs to hit that minimum, that is fine. And yes, these licenses are interchangeable. So if someone leaves the program or finishes, then you can go ahead and add someone else. Okay, sounds good, Joy. Yes, I think I sent Joy an email earlier today too. That's wonderful. But yeah, so that's the first one that we have available. And then last week, for those of you that might not have been on the call, we've also put together another opportunity through our statewide partnership. And this opportunity is for Learning Upgrade. And once again, this one is for a minimum purchase of 25 licenses, and it's a 20% savings. And this opportunity, I believe, is good through the end of August for Learning Upgrade. And we have a promo code for that too. The promo code is LUMACAE, but simply just reach out to me and I can help you with that. And if you missed that session last week, Patrick, I think, has the slide, the presentation, and the recording, and we can make sure you get that. And then I also want to share with you, if you were at the MACAE conference, or maybe if you weren't able to make it, I forgot to give this to Greg, but we did have a free shipping on any orders of $100 or more. And I know a lot of you are working on your spin down, and that promo code for that is MAETC22. That's MAETC22. And that's for free shipping on $100 or more. And if you want help with a quote, just email me. So you have many opportunities going on now through the end of the summer, and pilots and are available for Learning Upgrade, and we can do a 30-day demo for Engine. And so if you have any questions, let me know. And I'd like to thank Greg and Patrick for having us today. And Greg, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this for us today.
Elaine, it is always a pleasure. I didn't have an opportunity to go through the chat to see if there were questions. I'm sifting through them now, but it looks like
Patrick had a silly one.
is there a captain's chair in the command center?
Don't get you started. Now you're going to have to put that in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm one of the rowers, chained to the bench. So there is a captain's chair. I've never seen it. I think Elaine might sit in it.
It wouldn't be me.
Well, thank
I
you
do
so
want to
much.
thank everyone too for your time and attention. And Elaine, anything else you can think of? Are there any requests? I don't know how much time we have remaining.
I think we're good. I think
Okay.
everyone knows that if they need to reach me, my email and my number to reach out anytime for samples, quotes, demos, pilots, print or digital, just let me know. I can help. And Patrick, we always thank you for the time you provide us, and we love sharing with you guys. And Greg, I always appreciate your support. So thank you.
Always a pleasure to help. Patrick, would you, if you like, I can send you the PDF to the PowerPoint so that you can share that with those who may have missed the presentation and want to listen to it later.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Yeah, we'll send that out. We'll send the recording out. Any last questions for Greg and Elaine from anyone? No.
So
All right. Okay, well, we'll let everybody go. Thank you again. We'll get this information out, and thanks for tuning in and joining us. And thank you again, Elaine and Greg, for your time.
All right, thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Patrick. Thanks, Elaine. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.